Hello everyone, this is the Mr. Mobilesuit here, and I'm here to talk about everybody's favorite type of games, live service gaming or gaming services. Okay, and pretty much I talk about this topic because I was watching the Game of Thrones show. No, it's me, no, it's me, Game of Thrones Senpai, and he talked about the pros and cons of live service gaming. And I saw Gundam, it's a Gundam talk about it too in his video of Anthem. No, it's me, Gundam Senpai. But pretty much I want to chime in and put my 2 cents of, the pros and cons of live service gaming or gaming services. Let's get started off with the pros. And one that being, well, the obvious one, new gear added. Okay. And, I know this is it's just the obvious one. But, with live service gaming, it'd be a whole lot easier to add new gear, add new stuff constantly, new cosmetics, new weapons, armor, all that stuff. It'd just be good. And pretty much it'd be fun, kind of add in new ideas. I guess a gamer playing Assassin's Creed 4, and you want to add, some people will say it would be great for grapple hook. Then the developers they add a grapple hook, and that would be beneficial to the game. Another pro would be, I had to say, the meta changes, because I think of Overwatch and how it constantly changed meta, which is good. It brings back players. It brings back a constant flow of variety and change to the gameplay. Even though that the meta right now is kind of not good. You got goats and you got tank comps, and it's just really not good. And you got Death Ball. I don't know. I hadn't played it in, I guess, 2 weeks or stuff. So I know they released Bastille. I don't know his name. Anyway, pretty much it's just good. You change the meta constantly, and you pretty much are forced to learn different characters and different things, which is not a bad thing, but it's very interesting and add more diversity to the game and variety to the gameplay. Okay. And the next pro that I want to talk about is updates, patches, and changes. I know pretty much how these differ from the other ones. Well, pretty much kind of these with the updates and patches and some changes, they kind of help get rid of some of the bugs or glitches in the game. Think of the best example would be 2 Ubisoft games that just came to mind, which is Assassin's Creed Unity and Rainbow Six Siege. And pretty much the games, when those 2 first launched, they were buggy. Literally, you could pretty much walk through a building, in Assassin's Creed Unity, you could just walk through a building, or pretty much some of the cutscenes were still rendering. You see somebody eye, you see a person eye your lips. And in Rainbow Six Siege, pretty much you can shoot somebody. There'd probably be a glitch where you shot somebody and just, oh god, well, either the shot didn't register or you can shoot through a building. Anyway, I wasn't there for the day, for the the days of beginnings of the days old, but I pretty much did my research, saw it, and I'm like, man, this is so buggy. And then the connections were just awful too. So yeah, but anyway, but now with the patches and updates and fixes, Rainbow Six Siege pretty much became one of the funnest games I ever played. And I bet you, I had played Assassin's Creed Unity, but I bet you it might probably have been fixed, and some of the bugs that were there probably weren't there now. So yeah, pretty much. Also, the nerfs and buffs, which is pretty much a double-edged sword, and it does kind of fall into meta changes. But yeah, the nerfs and buffs, they kind of it is a double-edged sword. Kind of, you can see a gun that is way too a gun or character or a piece of equipment that is way too overpowered. Nerf it so that way people will stop complaining about it and stop saying, hey, this gives somebody an advantage. Or you can pretty much nurse somebody who's pretty much OP, or bust somebody who's crap, pretty much. I guess a good example would be Krillin from Dragon Ball FighterZ. This recent patch, they just gave him a buff. Like they kind of get like his medium too. Well, I guess his medium in the medium air, but air medium kind of can now do I guess sliding knockdown, and plus like he can really be his own character now. And a bad idea of a buff would be kind of Roja from Overwatch, where they kind of nerf him. And but there's some good reasons to some of his nerfs, like the hook, which can hook around corners and can pretty much hook you from outer space. Which was I had to say was a good nerf, but also a bad nerf was pretty much reducing the damage to his gun. Yes, they kind of made compensate for it by adding more ammo to it, but then again, they really just kind of nerfed the gun and kind of took out the whole took out his whole role as a damage dealing tank. But anyway, also, and one more pro before I move on to the cons is that it putting out like they're trying making the game better as it goes along the years. Like when I think of that, I think of Rainbow Six Siege because first it started out as a mess, and then now it's like the best it could be or has ever been, and it just keep updating and improving. And there's some other games that I would say had trying to be best, trying to like be better than what it was, and try to make it fun for everybody. Okay, and now to the cons. Now, before anybody say anything in the comments or anybody really, these are just my opinions, my takes on live service gaming. So if you disagree, just leave it down in the comments below. Okay, now let's get straight to the cons. The cons, I would say this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and get a big one out of the way. Monetization. Pretty much, EA. I saw this article by EA which said that live service gamings are easy to monetize, which they really are. They're just easy to monetize. Man, I'm kind of thirsty. Anyway, it's just it's a whole lot easier to put products out, put out new gear, and put a price tag on it, and just make money off of live service gaming. And I use I guess microtransactions, loot boxes, and all that good stuff to make a quick dollar off them, which I would say would hinder the gameplay experience because once everybody kind of grinded out all the beta versions of the game, the beta, all the items from a beta version, then you pretty much are left with either you grind twice as hard for the DLC version or you pay for a loot box. And which can really get frustrating and tiresome because you buy say there's a gun and you had to pay $6 for a gun, which is really really crazy for one gun, or you can grind these 2 or 3 days just to get an SP to get that gun. It's just really crazy, and that's one major con of gaming services. Is just the how companies use the monetization for it. Another con is the hiatuses, and that's it's the hiatuses. And I should kind of put these in better order. But anyway, the hiatuses are pretty much like the time period between fixing a game and all that. Sometimes companies would take time, but then again, I can understand that the hiatuses sometimes it won't sometimes be coming fault, sometimes it isn't with Anthem. It's pretty much I guess the game came out unfinished, and I'll cover that next. The game came out unfinished, and pretty much they had 3 different teams working on 3 different projects. And instead of coming together, EA had the team separated, and the game came out unfinished. And then it probably might take a while for each team to for one team to fix a whole gaming service and put in patches and buffs and nerfs and updates in there. Anyway, what I'm saying is that sometimes it's not the developers' fault for the long hiatuses. Sometimes they got other projects working on and stuff, and there are other other projects, games that they need to work on, updates, etc. But but that is a real big problem. Going 2 or 3 weeks without update and having some gun or character going crazy and just using OP tactics in the game, which really should be nerfed. Another con, which I said earlier was a kind of double-edged sword, was the nerfs and buffs, and I kind of gave a good example, which was Roja from Overwatch, where they nerfed his hook, which was a good thing, but they also nerfed his gun, which was a really bad thing, because that kind of like defeats the purpose of his kit, which was, if you got hooked, then you're dead. But if you avoid the hook, then you still got a fighting chance. Yes, I would say his gun was OP, but then again, it's like it was part of his kit, and pretty much you had to, like, if you were smart, you had to back off from his kit. Well, just back off away from the Roja player. But yeah, just sometimes the nerfs and buffs can be good things and bad things. Because, like, you like, say they nerf a really balanced character to the ground, so that way everybody can play the game, which is not a bad idea. Well, it's not a good idea, but then again, not a bad idea. But still, you're nerfing a character that really don't need any nerfs, and you're just making the character virtually unplayable and pretty much lower the play count for that character. Or buffs, like you give a really bad character a really big buff, and now that character OP, and the balancing of the game is completely off, which kind of affects the meta in every situation and way. And my last one is unfinished projects, which is pretty much what it implies. That sometimes live service gaming isn't really good, to me, in my opinion, because it kind of gives companies, developers, and producers just a cop out of just not finishing the game on time and releasing a half finished product. It's kind of like how Destiny. Like, I still play Destiny, and that's what you're seeing, the gameplay. But it's just that's how I experienced Destiny. Like, it was just a half finished game. The story was not really there, and then they had to add more DLC, and then that pretty much by the time you get to Rise of Iron, the game felt like it was like 20% done. Like, finished. And that's what I just don't like about games and most gaming and services, that it just encourages unfinished products. Like, some examples would be Destiny 2, Anthem. Let's see. I'm not gonna say Black Ops 4 was pretty good, I guess. Overwatch, which was like it came. I'm not like, yeah, I get it was supposed to be like a team-based shooter, but then again, it felt like undone, and some of the characters felt unbalanced at the time. But it just encourages the behavior of saying, like, hey, if we don't finish right now, we can finish it later down the road, which I really just don't like about it, and just feel like, why just don't finish the game? Why can't you just push back the deadline and finish the game now? Well, and to be honest, I do like live service games, and they got their ups and downs, but to be honest, they're here to stay, guys. They're just here to stay. I know that sucks. I know some people hate to hear that, but then again, it is what it is. So anyway, Mission Mobile Suit signing out. Catch you on this one. Peace out later. Bye. Whatever.